We are tracking 3 big winter storms that will bring heavy snow, ice, heavy rain, and severe weather to the United States this week. We're going to be walking you through step by step the weather forecast so you can understand what type of weather you can expect out your door as we go through the week. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my detailed, accurate weather breakdowns. Like the video, especially if you find it informative, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look at our temperature trends here for the week ahead, because we are going to be seeing some colder air up here to the north, bringing it south from Canada into the northern United States, especially up here in Montana, into the Dakotas, where you see these purples and pinks. Those are temperature anomalies this week, a 5-day period of 30 to 35 degrees below normal. That's some cold stuff. Here are your high temperatures expected this afternoon on your Monday, February 10th. Notice across the south, desert southwest, drier, yes. We're going to warm up faster, yes, as well. Into the 70s and 80s down here. The coldest of the air up into Montana and northern Wyoming, where temperatures, especially in those higher elevations, below zero. In the single digits below zero. Our wind chill values will be around 20 degrees below zero, especially up here, again, into Montana and northern Wyoming. So if you are venturing outdoors up here, make sure to cover your skin with any, winter coats, gloves, stuff like that, because frostbite can occur in less than 30 minutes in that environment. What about the central U.S.? Coldest of the air up here into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Temperatures will be in the single digits to even below zero at times, especially in North Dakota. Teens over here in Wisconsin, and then more 30s and 40s all the way down to the south. Kind of a cool day across North Texas into the mid 40s this afternoon. Our wind chills to the north are going to be in the 30 degree below zero range into northwest North Dakota. So again, another area to cover exposed skin with winter coats, gloves, scarf, everything up here as you venture outdoors, because frostbite again can occur in less than 30 minutes. The eastern U.S., not too shabby here. The coldest of the air up into Montana, Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York, into southeastern Canada too. Temperatures in the single digits and teens. The Ohio Valley over to the mid-Atlantic, temperatures around the freezing point at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or so. And then across the southeast, some 60s and 70s down here in Georgia and into Florida, the Sunshine State, seeing some 80s, especially the further south you go into the state. Now let's look at our first winter storm. This is going to bring some snowfall and some ice and some heavy rain to especially the eastern U.S. Here we go through the afternoon. Notice we get some rain developing here across the southern plains, places like Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and that moves east into Tennessee. In the blue, that's the snowfall that starts to develop here down just south of St. Louis, southeast of Missouri, far southern Illinois, down toward Mount Vernon, over here into Paducah, getting into Evansville, Indiana, and Lexington, Kentucky. Very narrow swath of snow. This is going into your Tuesday morning, and then as we go through the day on Tuesday, that snow will build east into West Virginia, southern Ohio, southern Pennsylvania, parts of Maryland, Virginia, and even over here into Delaware as we go through the day on Tuesday. Notice the heavy rainfall training over the same area. So from East Texas to Louisiana to Mississippi, all the way over here into Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, a lot of areas seeing some pretty heavy rainfall with this system going through your Tuesday evening time frame. So here's the precipitation amounts on the warm side of the system. We're going to see rainfall over an inch in a lot of areas where you see these tan shaded colors and oranges from portions of Arkansas into northern Louisiana, into northern Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, into southern Kentucky, and over here toward the western Carolinas. When you get a little bit colder, we got cold air damming, so we have the raindrops falling down and it freezing on contact. That's freezing rain, and we could have some of that across southern Virginia and parts of western Virginia and also western North Carolina, down here into places like Asheville and those higher elevations. Freezing rain amounts could be up to around a quarter inch in some areas localized, so a freezing rain threat here with ice. And then on the colder side of the storm, where it's all snow from the cloud all the way to the ground, that's where we could be seeing anywhere from around 6 to 10 inches worth of snow, especially in those higher elevations of West Virginia, southern Maryland, and also into southern Delaware. So a plowable snow as we go through the midweek time frame. Here's our second winter storm that's going to be taking shape across East Texas as we go into Wednesday morning. 1,000 millibar low down here. Watch the track of it as it moves up toward Little Rock as a 999 millibar low Wednesday afternoon. It is strengthening and it moves up there toward Fort Wayne, Indiana, and southern parts of the Great Lakes as a 995, 996 millibar low as we go into Wednesday night. Now, this promises to bring some strengthening snowfall signals because you have a strengthening low pressure system. That means a heavy deformation snow band is likely on the backside of the system as the cold air rushes in from the north and it overspreads with moisture. You're going to get snow. So here we go. Wednesday morning, heavy snow breaking out from Topeka down towards portions of Wichita, Kansas City, all the way toward Kirksville, Missouri, and even Davenport, Iowa as well. Ice is a threat from Oklahoma City to Tulsa over here into central Missouri and near Joplin as well. Something to keep an eye on. And then rain further south in the green. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, snowfall reaches Madison, Wisconsin, Rockford, Davenport, Chicago, over here into Gary, Indiana. Some areas that could be seeing snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. And I really think that peaks as we go into the evening rush, especially there in Chicago, where we could literally be seeing 1 to 2 inch per hour snow rates. Milwaukee, Chicago, the western suburbs like Aurora, back there in towards the Davenport Quad Cities. Ice threat, St. Louis to Indianapolis, up there toward Toledo and Dayton, and all the way up to Lake Erie, and also some cold air damming from areas near Pittsburgh down there into western portions of Virginia and eastern West Virginia, and then some stronger thunderstorms on the southern side of this system Wednesday evening, and then that will peel out to the north and east, giving us some heavy snow in southeastern Canada, southern Ontario and Quebec. Also parts of interior New England, and then a wintry mix near the I-95 corridor, rainfall closer to the coast. So looking here at the cold side of the system, snowfall, very heavy snow. The heaviest snowstorm for Chicago that we have seen thus far this winter season. We're talking around a foot of snow in Chicago is possible with this winter storm Wednesday into Thursday. We're looking at a solid 6 to 12 inches anywhere you see these purples and these pinks here, stretching from southwestern Ontario and Quebec all the way back here into central Kansas and southeastern Nebraska and Missouri and Iowa as well. So a lot of areas here could be seeing a plowable snow from this system. You get a little bit colder than that, or a little bit warmer than that rather. We're going to actually be seeing the snowfall falling out of the cloud. It's going to melt to raindrops. Those raindrops will fall all the way to the surface of the earth and then refreeze on contact because the pavement temperatures are at or below freezing, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's where we run into some problems with icing. So freezing rain, sleet will be a concern from Oklahoma City to Tulsa, up here into places like St. Louis, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Toledo, and Detroit. That's where we have a narrow access, but a potent access of some snow where we could be, or some ice where we could be seeing potentially a 1/10, 2/10, even a 1/4 inch of ice here. Now, if you get on the warm side of the storm, we're looking at the potential of a couple of inches of rain. So we're looking at that across Dixie Alley, much of eastern Tennessee, Carolinas, and up into Virginia. Could be seeing some flash flooding there as well. And this could come with a little bit of some severe weather. We could be seeing a marginal risk, maybe even an upgrade to a slight risk in future outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center on this storm across Louisiana, Mississippi, and western Alabama. 60 mile per hour winds, quarter size hail will be the main risk, but a couple tornadoes will also be possible. And you can see that here. Wednesday morning, we got some scattered thunderstorms. This is the instantaneous flash rate, shows you the lightning strikes and where those thunderstorms will be. Wednesday morning, scattered. And then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, those will push east. Notice how it's more linear. So that's why I think the damaging wind and hail threat will be the most probable from these thunderstorms, but we cannot rule out a couple storms developing out ahead of the main line or along the main line itself that could give us some QLCS tornadoes, and that will continue to march east towards Alabama and Georgia as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and weakening as it does so further toward the east. Looking here at the weekend ahead, we are looking at another cold blast moving all the way south to Texas and a temperature gradient here across portions from the Great Lakes down through the western Ohio Valley and down to the deep south. And that temperature gradient will be our storm track as we go into the weekend time frame. So notice as we go into Saturday morning, February 15th, there's our low in western Kansas, and it's going to follow that storm track here across the middle of the country. On the northwest side of there, that's where we're going to have heavy deformation snow once again, ice underneath the low track, and then on the southern and southeastern side of the low track, We're going to see warmer air being pulled north from the Gulf and giving us some heavy rain and severe weather potential. Here's the storm and what the radar could look like. Some heavier snows to the north in the blue. The pinks, those are freezing rain and sleet, otherwise known as ice. And then we have the heavier rain, especially in the darker greens, with severe weather. And notice that is really going to continue to crank across the northeast even as we go into Sunday, the February 16th time frame. And looking here at the snowfall, pretty good signal here for heavier snows once again in similar areas to the midweek system. Des Moines into Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Rockford, Chicago, Fort Wayne, Lafayette, Indiana, up there towards portions of Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Detroit, Toledo, and then over here toward Buffalo, New York. Something to keep an eye on for the weekend ahead. Looking at the warm side of the system, the Storm Prediction Center has already gone ahead and issued a day 6, yes, 6 days out, a slight risk of severe weather from East Texas all the way here across Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, much of the state of Mississippi, Alabama, and into northwest Georgia here. And this could cause the potential for a severe weather outbreak as we go into the weekend time frame with all modes of severe weather, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, even a couple strong tornadoes that cannot be ruled out depending on the mesoscale details of that day. Let's break into the overview here. You can see we are looking at the potential for a lot of energy. Storm energy over 1,000, 2,000 joules per kilogram. This could be enough for some strong to severe thunderstorms, especially when coupled with a strong mid-level jet. This is at 500 millibars, and notice it's rounding the base of that trough pretty strong as it swings across Dixie Alley here. And then you have your low-level jet that'll be pretty strong, over 60 knots as well. So initially, Saturday morning, we're watching out for scattered supercells. Memphis, potentially all the way down towards Shreveport and also Monroe, Louisiana. Then as we go into the afternoon, we're going to see a scattered of supercells. Jackson, Mississippi, Tupelo, back here into Monroe, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, New Orleans. We're going to keep a very close eye on you into Saturday evening. And then as we go into Sunday morning, those should move off the Gulf Coast and be weakening as they push toward Georgia and northwestern Florida. So a severe weather outbreak possible there. Between the three systems that we do see here, one that is moving through today into tomorrow, one that is moving through Wednesday into Thursday, and the third one moving Saturday into Sunday, this could give us some pretty heavy snowfall really across portions of the central and northern plains, through the Midwest and into the Great Lakes and the Northeast and also into southeastern Canada. Where you see these purples and pinks, that's where we're at least 6 inches, if not a foot of snow. And then where we see those like lighter blues and whites, those are over 2 feet of snow. And you can see some lake enhancement to that around Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, and Lake Huron here as well. And then looking at a little bit of the more marginally cold side of the system, if you will, you got colder air that is near the surface, warmer air aloft, and that is a ice setup from portions of the Texas Panhandle, Amarillo, towards Oklahoma City, up there towards St. Louis, Indianapolis, Detroit, Toledo. Those areas could be having the most ice potential, and then parts of the Northeast as well, where anywhere from a light glaze upwards to 1/4 of an inch of ice will be possible. Then on the warm side, not only do we worry about severe weather with damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes, but heavy rain and flash flooding. So we could be seeing in the reds anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain, but in these brown shaded colors, southeast Kentucky, middle and eastern Tennessee, North Georgia, western North Carolina, over here into northern Mississippi, Alabama, and then into northeastern Louisiana. That in the brown, anywhere of 6 to 8 inches worth of rain, and that could cause a lot of flooding. This is, again, between the three systems that we do see. Now, going into the third week of February, we're going to see a little bit of a change here, but it's going to be a change for the colder across the Great Lakes as we are now settling in with a snowpack, and that snowpack will keep us much colder into that third week of February. So here is February 17th through February 24th, and notice in the greens, these are averages for that 5 to 7 day period of 12 to 15 degrees below normal. And this could easily be a lot more intense than you see on this map because it depends on how much snowpack we have and exactly how much snow we do have on the ground, like how much snow we get between now and then. Looking here at that third week of February with the cold air in place, we could still see a couple winter storms, maybe not as big as we see this week, but the potential will be there for those nickel and dime type snow events with maybe 1 inch here, 2 inches there, another 3 inches here, so some lighter snowfall events from the Midwest into the Great Lakes and the Northeast. And we we'll be keeping track of that for you right here on this channel. If you want to follow along with all my detailed, accurate weather breakdowns, you got it right here at Weather on the Go. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll have another video out for you this evening. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, especially if you did find it informative, and also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the winter storms or anything like that, or anything you want to know with snow amounts, ice amounts, rain amounts, severe weather. I'll keep you covered here and answer your questions after the video. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful rest of your Monday out there.